Okay, let's talk about sheep on YouTube and what makes them sheep. I don't understand, well, maybe I do a little bit. The USA has had stars in movies and fans and rock singers and country singers, and they just end up with thousands and thousands of people following them. Hey, look at this guy. Yes, look at you. Look at you. He's a kitten. So, even if you go back like in the old days of Elvis Presley or the Beatles, I mean, people would just follow these singers like they were gods. I mean, women would throw themselves into the crowds, and it was just unbelievable what they would do. It seems, and I'm not sure if this is other countries, but it seems like Americans that I've seen need to worship somebody. Now, some people will worship God, some people will worship a country singer, some people will worship a rock singer, some people will worship a person on YouTube. And when they do, they lose all track of their brain. Does it make any sense to buy a knife off a YouTuber? There's no real warranty. There's no real anything with it. You don't know how it's made just because they lasered their logo into the side of it. Oh boy. So go to China, buy 10,000 knives, go buy a laser thing and set them under there and start cutting your logo into it. I've just never seen such crazy stupidity. If you buy an Etsy knife, they have a lower quality of steel, which in turn the blade will rust. That's why they paint it on the one side. And it doesn't hold an edge as long. But they're more affordable than your other steels. You know, what a Bark River knife is what I have. They have a 3VM steel, so that holds an edge longer. They are stronger, and they practically don't rust. So when you look at a knife, or anything for that matter, you should be looking at not the name, but it seems like most Americans look at the name. And you shouldn't be looking at that. You should be looking at the guarantee, like Bark River knives are guaranteed for life. You should be looking at what you're spending your money on. They do say a fool and his money soon parted. And that's the crazy part. I see YouTubers out there that run Patreon accounts that make $5,000 a month on Patreon. Now, some of them make sense. I mean, there's some that make some pretty amazing documentaries, beautiful backgrounds, amazing editing. They're quite impressive. A lot of those are World War II ones, and the history is amazing. But this stuff has gone back in history a long ways. I mean, you just look at North Korea. They got nothing but propaganda going with their own people, and they hate U.S. citizens. The hatred that they have built from generation to generation is unbelievable. It's almost like if you tried to help those people, there would be no way to help them if you had an American flag on you. Basically, you'd have to wipe them out. There truly is no way to help them because of how much propaganda has been fed into their brains. As Americans, we're not any different. We're really not. President Biden, the senators, they believe we're all stupid. As well as the big YouTubers believe you're stupid. I mean, this is not any different from history. My little friend from the Netherlands I talked to, he's amazingly intelligent when it comes to history. He was showing me videos on how the people from Netherlands had joined the Nazis and how they'd done it for like a can of beans and a loaf of bread. How they'd sold out their country just because they were hungry. You know, and this goes back to 1940s. And I was like, wow. Now, propaganda makes sense to work back then. I mean, they didn't have the social media and the stuff we have now. You would think with social media, with so many people speaking out, that people would listen. But actually, social media has made it worse. It has allowed YouTubers, it has allowed government, it has allowed the American government to use propaganda and lies to program us. And we fall for it. You know, when you see 400,000 subscribers on a so-called prepper channel, and all they're doing is pushing goods, and they never really do anything, then that's not a prepper. That's somebody running a business. It's no different than seeing a good Coca-Cola commercial on the Super Bowl. It's kind of ridiculous. Oh, you stop rubbing up against me. Now, I hear you. This thing is so attentive. And when he first got here, she wouldn't come near me. No, you wouldn't come near me. Now she can't get enough of me. But I watched this prepper talk about this great knife he had bought from another YouTuber, and I just sat there shaking my head going, you're truly not a prepper. The propaganda and the advertisement and the marketing you fell for. And your mind is very small when that happens. The same thing happens, and I hate to say it, but a lot of religious people, their minds are the same. They get programmed and they get driven to the point where they believe in nothing else, and if you object with it, they get upset. The propaganda that has been fed to them, they have believed wholeheartedly. I've seen one person make a video saying, I don't see how somebody could be a nice person if they're not a Christian. I've never heard such bullshit in my life. Hoople's cat is an atheist. He does not go to church. Yet he's a nurse. So is his wife. They take care of, well, before they retired, they took care of hundreds and thousands of people in their lifetime. The Bible had nothing to do with them taking care of people. They just had a natural heart for wanting to help. You don't need the Bible or God to tell you what's right or wrong. And for somebody that's religious, that believes that, they have some issues too. And the problem is, all these people have issues. And why are you biting me? And that is kind of scary, because that means if shit hits the fan and preppers start to group up, and you get one person that is narcissistic or doesn't know what he's doing, he's going to control a group of people, and it could be for very, very evil, like Hitler. It's almost like we don't want to use our brains anymore, and we don't want to talk. We just want to follow somebody. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Common sense is not there anymore. I mean, you take, for example, what Biden's talking about right now, and this will prove to you why the president thinks you're stupid. He wants to lower the tax on gas, and everybody's going to save like 18 cents. And I'm like, okay, so you're this 80-something, whatever-year-old man, and you still haven't learned? You gave out stimulus, you gave out all this free money to Ukraine, and all of a sudden the groceries are outrageous, the gas is outrageous, inflation's outrageous. You have not learned every time you give away free money that this shit don't happen? Yet you're going to do it again? And now he's talking about very close to giving students $10,000 in loans, where the people that never went to school, the ones that worked the jobs at McDonald's and Walmarts and never had money to go to school, decided to not take on that bill. They're forced to pay for the people that have gone to school for nurses and CNAs and all these other jobs. There's something wrong with this man. He must believe you're all stupid. Or in his own mind, he believes this is going to get him reelected. When you're elected as a president, you're supposed to be working for the majority, not one group of people, which doesn't make any sense. But you see it everywhere. You see it with people following YouTubers that have 300,000 subs, and I'll hear the same excuse. I'll go, I don't watch that guy. I says, he's full of shit. And my friends will say, oh, I just watch because one day he might say something. He's not going to say shit. He's basically running a YouTube channel to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it obviously does work. I've tested it. I've ran certain products to see what would happen, and it works. People follow because of that reason. And I believe Ben, I'll have Ben's link in the bottom. He's so hilarious. He's been uploading 1-minute videos on garbage. He's trying to make a point to show you, he can show you something that makes perfect sense for prepping, but people don't watch him. You don't get the views. So he goes and uploads a video of a stop sign or, a pair of scissors or whatever, and he gets 200 views. Well, what does that tell you about the people on YouTube? They're a bunch of morons. Or maybe YouTube doesn't have educated people watching YouTube. Or the people that are educated on YouTube are watching videos just on how to do things or fix things, or they're not really subscribed, is what's going on. When you find yourself becoming a fan of somebody and all your logic goes out the window and you just believe everything that person says, you've now become sheep and you've now become a fool and you don't think for yourself. I hope the people that are subbed to me, when I do things, they are looking at me and judging me. I prefer that. I don't delete comments that somebody doesn't like me or calls me bad names. Bad names don't offend me. I would prefer they come back with an actual statement of why they believe what they believe instead of just acting like a child and giving out bad names. But when you see that, and if you're a new prepper coming in and you're thinking, I'll make some videos, get to know some people, well, they're looking at these big YouTube preppers and they're thinking, that's the way you got to do it. And they're lying to themselves. If you're going to open a YouTube channel, be yourself. Do your own thing. Who cares if you got 500 subs or you got, 20,000? I mean, if you got 500 subs, that's 500 people listening to you. That's a lot of people. And it's ridiculous. If you notice, I don't display my subs. I do have a lot, but I do not display them. I think it's a bunch of crap. I see a lot of people on YouTube that have 200, 300,000 subs, and they use it as a bragging right, like a trophy. I do not display myself because I don't want that to be an incentive for people to join. They should join because they like what they're hearing and not because of that. So if you're joining people because they have X amount of subs or because you believe every single video they upload, it makes sense, then you're a stupid person. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's true. And you're not going to become a better prepper. When you listen to multiple preppers, you can listen to a prepper that has 100 subs. I listed one guy in my community forum. This guy's uploading kits from storing water in your closet to all kinds of small little kits. And they're really well done videos. I think he's got 200 subs. And he's done such an awesome job. And that's why I listed him. It's amazing. So if you're going to do anything, and you want to take one piece of advice from this whole video, reevaluate who you're following. And if that person for the last month or 2 months is nothing but product after product after product, he don't give a shit about you. Has he lit a fire with a magnifying glass? I've done that a couple times. I mean, I recorded it so you guys can check it out. I walk a track with a pack on. Look at who you're watching. These people are not trying to better their lives. They're trying to better their lives on your back. And don't be so stupid. And I'm sorry, the religious people are so programmed into it, but it literally is a form of programming. It's like everything has a balance, and when you go too far, you've entered a world you can't get out from. The Nazis did not become the Nazis because, they were good people. A lot of propaganda, a lot of bullshit, a lot of controlling, a lot of hatred, a lot of manipulation. Have you become a Nazi? Because all our government did in our news was advertise how great Ukraine is and how bad Russia is. And we ate it up. Nobody went back and said, the 3-month war, when meanwhile that war's been going on for 8 or 10 years. Ukraine is filled with Nazis. And nobody did their own research. The government just put out, and every news service that had it, ABC, CBS, obviously is owned by the government. So all these news services are owned to program you in propaganda and for you to fall for it. And if you did, well, you're a sheep. Go look in the mirror. Bah. I mean, come on. You're not using your own brain. Anyhow, I see more sheep than I do strong people. And strong people are the ones that survive in emergency situations. It's not the weak ones. The weak ones will stand there and look for help from other people and saying, please don't let me die. But they're not going to realize that until the day comes, and then they're going to be like, oh shit, that old man that was talking on YouTube is right. Well, guess what? It's too late then. Common sense is very rare now, and it doesn't seem to exist. Everybody needs a book, or they need somebody to tell them what to do. It's amazing how short supply common sense is. And I guess it's good for all these people that are making millions of dollars off these people. I'll catch you guys on the next one.